Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm working on a page for my art journal. It's actually a tag, an art journal tag. This is the February 2023 mid-month mini mission for the Mission Inspiration Facebook group. It is created by Mike Deacon, and the first thing I did, I knew exactly what I wanted when I saw the prompt. Okay. First thing I thought of was a little fish walking down the street wearing a tuxedo and a top hat. Look at what I found. I found a little fishy, not really walking, but good enough, with a top hat and a tuxedo. So I'm going to create the background for my tag, using my jelly plate. And this is an idea I low-key stole from Mike's video. He used his jelly plate to create the background as well. So figured why not? I have 2 shades of green and 2 shades of brown, a dark and a light. And I have put this through super fast motion because it's boring. And I have a nice transition of color there. I'm going to use a piece of white copy paper to pull that print. And I like it, but the transition's too obvious because I put those 2 light colors together. So then I thought, well, I'll put some of the light green and the light brown over the whole jelly plate. And I'm pulling a print right over the top of the other one. Nice texture, not great color. So then I went with the dark green and the darker brown. I did not roll it all the way out. I left it kind of uneven and lumpy. I know that's not a word, but it's the thing that came to mind. And I have nice texture for my print. So this is the print I'm going to use. And here is my tag. Now this tag measures about 4 inches by about 8 inches. And I'm going to heat set this paint. This is Distress acrylic paint. And it's on regular, like 24-pound copy paper. So I do need it to dry just a bit so that the paper doesn't tear when I go to trim it, because as we all know, wet paper does not cut pretty. Now that I have that dried back a little bit, I am going to put my tag on the front of the page and kind of trace around it where I want, what part of the paper I want to use. Now this tag is created from the back of a 12 by 12 paper pad, and the white side has a little bit of tape residue on it. So I will be covering up the white side today. I think last month I did it the opposite. And I'm not putting anything on the back because I didn't have enough of my jelly print left. All right, so you can't see the pencil lines on there. And to be honest, neither could I very well, but I could find 2. And really all I need are 2 pencil lines, because then I can figure out where I want the tag to go and put it together from there. So I did take the top off, and I'm going to take the right-hand side off. And then I am going to just put some adhesive on the back of my tag and kind of figure out where in this paper, this pattern that I've created, that I want the tag to lay. So I'm just using my double-sided adhesive. This is my off-brand tape runner for my ATG tape runner. ATG gun. There's the word I'm looking for. I feel like if you say that word too many times that maybe somebody's going to flag you. I don't know. But that's what it is. ATG. I didn't name it. I guess it's Advanced Tape Glider. But whatever. And I've got adhesive all over the back of my tag. And I am just going to, or all over the front of my tag rather. Sorry. I'm going to put the paper down with the back to the front of the tag. See, that's where my brain was. And I'm just going to use my hands to smooth that all out. And then I'm bringing in a self-healing mat, and I'm using this little Fisker's finger knife to trim off the rest of the paper. There were a couple of places, like right up here at the top, where the paper was still a little damp from the paint, and it didn't really want to cut smoothly, so I had to be very gentle. I did get my knife a little crooked and close to the edge of the tag, but it's all good. Still looks like a tag. I'm not complaining. I am in love with Mike's sentiment for this year. He is not striving for perfection in his creation or in his creating. And I think that's been like my go-to for, ever. I would love it if my art came out the way that I plan it in my head, but it doesn't really. So now that I have that all adhered and cleaned up, it is time to add some interest to my tag. The first thing I want to do is kind of hide the white core of that paper. So I have pulled out potting soil and fern green archival inks and a couple of sponge daubers. And I'm going to put the ink around the top half of my tag and the green around the top half of my tag and the brown around the bottom half of my tag. And the orientation of my tag today is going to be laying horizontally. I know last month I had it standing up because that fit my image a little bit better. But I wanted to give the impression that my little fish in his top hat and his tuxedo tails with his little walking stick, man, if I could have found a monocle, that would have been awesome. I wanted to give the impression that he is walking down the street, fish out of water. So we've got the green for like the trees and the bushes and things. And we've got the brown for the road or the sidewalk. That's kind of the feel I was trying to create with this color choice. I need to add some texture to my background. So I've pulled out 2 stamp sets. One is a Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous stamp set. And it has this corner stamp that is foliage, leaves and vines and things like that. And I am going to use this to create kind of the tops of the trees or bushes, like the leaves to the trees and bushes along the top of my tag. Now, it looks like it's a little bit dirty, but archival ink doesn't always wash off these rubber stamps. And that's usually what I use them for or use them with. So, had to make sure. I am going to ink up this stamp with my Fern archival ink. And I'm just going to stamp it along the top. Now, okay, I'm working on a glass work surface. It is totally non-porous and washable. And I still have to put scrap paper underneath it because I'm totally afraid of getting wet ink on my glass surface, not having it dry, and ruining my project. I know, I'm extra. I don't even try. I don't even try to be weird anymore. It just kind of happens. Anyways, I am turning this stamp in a bunch of different directions so that I have a different viewpoint or angle, whatever you want to call it, of this stamp on my page. And I didn't just go from one side to the other. I went from the outsides in, and that may not have been like the best method here because I did get a little bit of a ugly overlap, but it doesn't actually look ugly. So it's working for me. It feels like greenery, like bushes and trees and leaves and stuff like that. I'm liking it. That's all that's important because this is my art for me, right? Okay, I need to add some texture to the bottom half of that. And I pulled out this Ellen Hudson circle stamp. So it's got a bunch of just varying circles. And I want to use one of these scribbly multi-circle stamps. And I went for the one that is kind of like the middle, not the largest, not the smallest, but the middle. And I'm going to ink that up with the potting soil archival ink. And I'm just going to kind of create a pattern along the bottom of the tag. Now, in real life, it's a little bit more there, but really, once it dries, it does kind of fade back and it just adds texture, which I love. But it looked a little bit too much like maybe bubbles, and I'm trying to not be in the water, which is totally fine because I have another part of this plan. I am going to take one of the text stamps from the other stamp set, the Stampers Anonymous stamp set, and just just stamp it right along the bottom, kind of over the top of those circles. I tried stamping off first to see if I needed to use a lighter ink, but it didn't show up at all. So I'm going full strength, and I'm not pushing very hard, so I'm not getting a lot of definition to that stamp. But it is giving that kind of image of like pavers, right? A sidewalk or something. I love it. And this is where I want my little fishy to go. And I don't really have a quote or anything. Like I didn't even look for one. But I do have an alpha stamp set from Dina Wakley. And I'm going to type or stamp the word gulp. Now, I'm using black archival ink this time because I do want it to stand up, or stand out rather. And I'm going to be stamping these. They're not going to be lined up perfectly, but this is such a whimsical kind of wonky font that it doesn't matter. And the O in the stamp set kept falling off my backer sheet, y'all. It was crazy. So I'm going to speed this up super fast because between the O falling off and the needing to wash and change my letters every time, it did take me a minute or two to stamp this. And you don't want to watch that. It's boring, right? I mean, I didn't think it was boring, but I was doing it. I don't know if I'd want to watch it. But I am just going to go ahead and stamp the word gulp because I feel like that maybe any fish walking along the sidewalk, breathing the air out of the air instead of the air out of the water, might be gulping. I don't know. I am going to use this Yoo-hoo or Oohoo glue stick. It's like called a collage glue stick. I like it because it has a screw-on cap so the glue doesn't dry out. It's, marginally better than liquid glue. It still makes my fingers and everything around me all sticky, but it does the job. I don't hate it. I'm just saying. I hope I don't hate it because I bought like a pack of 4. So, because the pack of 4 on Amazon was like $2 more than a pack of 1. Totally did not make sense at all. Anyways, I like this glue stick also because I can get the little image down on there without wrinkling. However, I did kind of tear the tail part a little bit while I was putting the glue on. So I just grabbed a brush nib pen and kind of traced over that tear in black. And now you can't even tell. Couple of details to add at the end of my tag, and I'm almost done. I want to add some shimmery, shiny stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some Wink of Stella glitter to the top hat because why not? I love these Wink of Stella pens. I wish they videoed and photographed better, but in real life, it's pretty. Okay. Then I pulled out my black glaze pen, and I should have done this last, but I didn't. And I figured out how to work around it. I wanted his eyes to be a little bit shiny and a little bit bumped up off the page, just a little bit of dimension. And these glaze pens, they do that. They add just the slightest raised bit of ink, and they make them shiny. So I thought that was super cool. So I filled in the blacks of his eyes with this little black glaze pen. It's a Jelly Roll glaze pen, I think is the name of it. I don't know. And then I pulled out my white gel pen. This is the number 10. And I put the band of his top hat in white. And I added a little bit of a highlight to that right-hand side. And then I put white dots on his eyes. You can't really see them. They don't show up very well. I kind of zoomed out a little bit. And then I decided to add some more glimmer and shimmer with my Wink of Stella pen. And I 100% forgot that I printed this on my inkjet printer. And the Wink of Stella kind of smeared the black lines in his tail. So that did not make me super duper happy, but at this point, it is what it is. It's shiny. So I'm just going with it being shiny. I did do the fins as well. They didn't smear quite as bad, but I need to put the tag on the back, and this is when I realized, oh, Jenny, your eyes are still wet. So I flipped the prompt card over and put the adhesive on the back of the prompt card because I want to be able to know, what the prompt was, what made me create this tag. And then I will just, it's not going to be centered whatsoever. It's probably not even going to be on straight because I can't see it, but I didn't ruin the eyes on my fish. So last step is to punch the hole in the top of the tag. And I have the larger setting on my crocodile set, and the adjustment lever is locked into place so I can punch it in the same place every time. So here I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully you will be able to see the shimmer on the hat. So you can see it a little bit. It looks so pretty. But yeah, totally fun tag. So I hope you enjoyed my video today. I know it was a quickie. Couple other videos here I think you might like. Also a subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. Leave me a comment below, give me a thumbs up, and have a really fabulous day.